Do you like woulda, shoulda, coulda games? This is so. What I mean by that, do you like a game?
I'm confused. So,
do you like a game that after you? Okay, welcome to the Game Garage. We have a big game to review
we
here.
barely, and I mean barely, fit it on the side angle. So
The game table is 3x4, and if we were playing 4-player, we would barely fit on this table. But do you like woulda, shoulda, coulda games? This is so. What I mean by that, do you like a game?
I'm confused. So,
do you like a game that after you played it, you're like, I should have done this. Oh, if I would have just done this, I could have done that. I mean, for me, this is a game that, like, I go to bed and I, can't go to sleep because woulda, shoulda, coulda.
yeah, there's just all the things, the possibilities, and the missteps you made, and the bad decisions.
Why didn't I see that little, I should have known.
So what is, who goes there? How do you describe it? How do you condense it down? Can you condense it down?
Okay, we're not going to even try to go through all the little details.
I feel like we say that every time we make a video.
I know we'll mention a few things,
yeah,
but it's just almost impossible, for us to get all the rules right for one, because we have to keep going back to the rule book to remind ourselves.
And it's a dense rule book. It's a thick one.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot going on.
You're going to want to watch a video, watch it a couple times, and then...
But let's boil it down. It's just like the movie, The Thing. So who goes there? There's a group of us, all of us playing one of these players. We have this little tableau. We have a group of actions. We have some stamina, how much strength that we have. That's always getting exhausted.
These so right tired. Here are your action cubes. These represent how many actions you can take. They stay up here until you spend them. When you spend them, they go off of your board, off to the side, and you can see, all your options right there.
You have a little card here that there's things that you're able to unlock. That I get this, and you spend experience points to get those things. You craft a whole bunch of things. It's got just a whole bunch there.
Some of these items, like this lantern, you'll craft. It'll go down here, and this guy has the ability to upgrade. I think most of them do.
Oh, yeah.
You can add more item slots and just keep adding.
So your character gets stronger and stronger. You're collecting cards. You're doing that all over the board. There's, first of all, you've got your deck, which is kind of specific to you. That makes it nice. You got the workshop, the storage area. Then when you go outside, so you're kind of inside a cabin right here.
Yep, and all the workshop stuff is all about crafting. Storage is primarily about survival, things
Inventory,
like health, food, whatever it is. And then when you go outside...
you start here, and easier ones and harder ones and bigger ones. But these are the things you're trying to survive, and the boiler room and the door is got to be maintained.
Attacked. Yeah, so boiler rooms falling apart, doors falling apart. And that's all based on these camp events that a lot of times are bad. Red usually means something's being attacked. Setbacks happen, all sorts of stuff.
At some point, everybody's good. Everybody's, we're all friends. Hey, we're good buddies. But when something goes wrong, you have to pick up one of these cards right here. And so the vulnerable card, only 12 of them, one of them is infected.
This is what takes this game and sets it apart from your average survival cooperative game.
Chances are all the cards are going to be gone before it's over. Then somebody is infected. It's possible that you can finish with one or two cards not being taken. That's very difficult. And then the second part of the game is a conversation about who goes on the helicopter and is rescued.
This is my least favorite part of the whole game. This game plays great.
You jumped into the cons right off.
And I usually do, because I just can't help it. I love this game, and I enjoyed playing it up until you get to the helicopter round. And I get what they're trying to do, and it's a good idea. It makes the vulnerable cards more interesting, because you don't know who's vulnerable, who's not, who's infected, and then getting on the helicopter, it's not like an instant win or loss. There's a lot more discussion that happens.
I actually think that this is two games in one. So just to discuss what he's talking about, it's like a survival game at the beginning, and at the end, it is this intense social deduction.
Yeah, and it's very intense.
Yeah, it's getting on the helicopter is, okay, your leader steps on, we vote on that sort of thing. Each of you have different stuff from outside, and you've collected all these things. I've got helicopter points and all this sort of stuff. And what's happening is all the people who are clean, all the ones that are good, they are trying to just leave by themselves, but they've got to bring as many human beings as possible.
Yeah, so basically, the more humans you have on the helicopter, the higher chance the helicopter makes it. But if at any point you bring
The thing.
the infected guy onto the helicopter, and you make it out to civilization with him aboard, he's going to infect the rest of civilization. The crazy part is there's 4 different ways this can resolve. And there's 4 full pages in this rule book for how to discuss and all the rules for the end game. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And as the guy that's in charge of the rules, it kills me. There's so much work.
I don't read the rules.
I don't hate it. I just struggle with it.
Okay, so a studio by the name of Certifiable is the one who puts this together. So an appropriate name for guys there. I love their updates. I love their videos. I think that this they've got another version. I've ordered it. Should be here any moment. In fact, if we get it before this goes out, we'll have to at least show something. But I believe they address the problem of the helicopter.
And I do want to caveat. I think I like what they're trying to do.
I
They're
do
trying to elevate it beyond just a binary infected wins or doesn't win. It's the only way you create that fun social deduction conversation debate. Oh, don't get on the helicopter, throw that guy off. All of that has to have some complexity. You have to have the rules in place to allow that kind of conversation to happen. And so I get what they're doing. I think there's just a more elegant way to do it. I don't know what that is, so I'm the wrong guy to ask. Whatever you guys come up with, I'm excited to see if it is.
So on some of my least favorite games in the world, I love social deduction, but some of my least favorite games are in the social deduction genre. And it's interesting to me that they have created a social deduction game here where there's enough game that you're not just like discussing a yes or a no, or are you going to do this, like a simple logic. I mean, it really feels like life has gone on. I mean, it's a long enough game. Life has gone on. Like, you got to watch the news to see if anything happened while you were playing. But that's what makes it fun to me, because the social part of it was over a long period of time, and now we get to the helicopter, and there was all this reason to either bluff or con or stick with it. But here at the end, a decision has to be made, and it's almost like you're going through each person. Do we take him? Do we not take him? Do we take him? And you're looking at the way those guys played the game, like, and you're discussing little dinky things that you're like, man, that was an hour and a half ago. Why did they? Oh man. And that's the woulda, coulda, shoulda for me, because they make it easy for me to hide as the thing. They make it hard for me to know who is good and can be trusted. And there's enough game that at the end it's just, I really like it.
Yeah, and really it's like this just becomes the undercurrent of distrust that kind of overshadows every action you take. And so you're constantly always going, oh, are you actually helping the team? But you do need to work together. And that's also the beauty of how they design the helicopter round. The bad guy needs to get on the helicopter.
Right.
And so he needs to actually work with everybody to make that happen. If he doesn't make it on, or if they don't make it out, his end goal is to infect all of civilization. And so it retains, it's not just, oh, now there's a bad guy and he's just sabotaging everything.
Yeah.
He can't just derail. He could if he wants to, but most of the time they don't just derail the whole game. The core game stays fun the whole way through.
Yeah. Okay, so have we talked about? Oh, you have your little.
We're all over the place.
Okay. Another pro for me for this game is that it's hard.
Yeah.
It's like first game, even second, like the third game, I'm like, we need a better strategy, and we'll take 5 or 10 minutes before we even start just to get everybody to realize this is not a on your own, go blaze a trail.
Yeah, you do need to truly work together, and that's what makes it a great survival game, and that's one of the top parts of my main pro for this game is it's one of the best survival games I've played, and I haven't played a lot, but this one is really good.
Yeah, and you've got to play together, you've got to communicate, you've got to talk, you've got the combination of your cards and this card, but everybody's got to eat, and that's not as easy as it sounds. Everybody's got to kind of work together, and then they've got to sleep, and they've got to all be in the right spot, so we can't leave anybody out on their own. So it pushes that communication, which means you have to work together. You can't just step back and not do anything.
You truly feel like you're kind of clawing for your life. Every time this round marker moves, it feels like we're on the brink of losing, and that is a good survival game. That it's true survival. And I guess the comparison if we could find a game that this is like, is maybe Robinson Crusoe, but only the feeling I get in Crusoe, which is Robinson Crusoe. I almost always feel like I'm not doing well, but that's a fun feeling because I'm always trying to overcome the next round.
This one's weird to me because you might help a guy craft something and help him craft his coat, and then he goes out and suddenly he gets really strong. But boy, if he's the thing,
right? You've just made him.
We've just made him really powerful, and it's like I've got to keep everybody even. I can't let anybody get too far, but I've got to help everybody. Going back and forth on the trust.
And that brings up another pro for me, and that is just hard decisions. Difficult decisions. Where am I going to end the round at? Who am I going to end the round with? What are these items? There's a lot of items out there. What items am I or am I not going to craft? Am I going to take the risk of drawing cards out of here? There's some really good stuff, and wow, those are all good. I guess it's the first stack is less bad, but there's some really bad things that can happen. And the what I really do like about this is what makes these decisions hard is the bad things don't just affect you. The bad things that show up in here start affecting the camp door and the boiler room. And so what happens, people get upset at each other.
Oh, man, Bodie, what did you do?
Yeah, like, why'd you break that? We're like, well, I'm just trying to get more strong. But it's like, come on.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to take my whole turn just to fix what you broke. And there's a lot of that interaction, which I love. It's cooperative in that sense, but then at some point, there's the thing who's playing against you, so it's tough. Here's one for me that's kind of flip side. It could go either way. In order to play this game, you have to have committed players.
Yeah, because it's so long.
One player that plays wrong.
Yeah, it's a couple of things. It's long, so they need to stick around and play hard the whole way through. And because the most difficult social deduction happens at the end.
Yes.
You are already brain dead by this point. You need people willing to go at it still.
I've never been here in less than 2.5 hours, and I have no idea what the game says, how long.
I don't know what they say either.
How long it is. 110 plus minutes. The plus has got to be a big plus.
It's a real big one.
and maybe that's just because we're talky and go back and forth on what we should do or not do. But it's...
So, not just committed because it's long. Why else committed?
Well, I think that every player has to start playing well. This is not a game that says, hey, let's just start and you'll figure it out. You do have to almost start. There's no way they're going to understand the whole rule book. But they've got to be playing well from the beginning, because you can make some decisions at the very beginning that just kill you. And you got to play to the very end. I've not seen a game that plays so hard, so long. And so when I finish this game, I'm done. I'm like,
I need a break.
Man, that was a fun game.
I'm gonna go play Mountain Goats.
Yeah, and it really is. But I like that. That means that anytime I pull this game out, I've got a group of people that really want to play it. You know what I mean? So it's a fun event. If I've got one or two that don't, or who are almost new to gaming and not really sure if they like it, this is not the game to pull out.
I think this ushers us really well into whether or not you should buy it, or if it's something you borrow, or if it's a bust. And I think this is a more complicated answer for us.
Yeah, it is.
Where are you at on the buy, borrow, or bust?
Oh, man. You asked that before I even finished all my stuff.
Sorry. I thought we were... Whoops.
Well, I'll sneak one in.
Yeah, sneak yours in. I missed it.
In the answer. There are probably few games that I've played where the storyline and the theme and all the interaction kind of tells a story. And I can think of just about every game I've played and almost relive it. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that's a really positive thing towards a buy, because there are just few games that play so, like, it always plays a little bit different. It always has a story of how I lost or how I won or what I woulda, shoulda, coulda. So I love the storyline. For me, that's leaning it towards the buy.
And I guess for me, it's hard because its core gameplay loop is so fun. The survival is so fun, and the social deduction it's a good add to a survival game. I think because of the length and because of some of the complexities and the needing the specific people, it's a borrow for me.
And it's a buy for me. I wondered when they came out with all the new stuff, and I'm like, no, they came out with more characters. There's 8 different characters, so you can play different characters, see how you can mix and match.
Yeah, and they're all unique, and we didn't talk about that, but they are very specific types of characters. There's 4 more in the expansions.
Yeah, so thankfully on Kickstarter I had a few days to figure it out, and by the end I ordered everything. I mean, I was just like, no, this is a game that I will play just about every year. And the thing is, it will be an event. It is not just one of several. It's not we could play this or this or this. It's like we put it on the calendar, plan to play it. Boom! It is huge. It is a half day of excitement.
Yeah, so you're paying for an event, and I think that would be if you're a Twilight Imperium player, which neither of us have played. That's probably how you feel about Twilight Imperium, which is this is our
Just huge.
right. This is our one-day event that we're gonna do.
So that's where we're at on a really big game that is a lot of fun, a story to tell.